Come along with me today as I go to get a curly haircut. It's been about 6 months since I've cut my hair. You can tell it's really long. I like to keep it closer to my shoulder length, and the layers that I have in the front are totally grown out. So it is time to go. I probably should go more often, but I usually go every 6 months. I go to a local curl specialist around here in Central Florida, Faith in Curls. She's in Deltona. And she's been cutting my hair for about the last 4-5 years. So she kind of already knows what to do. It's really quick since I have low density hair and I don't style it. I just go for a dry cut. I'm in and out in like 15 minutes. My hair type, if you're new here, is lower density, low porosity, fine. And I'm a person that prefers minimal fussing with my hair. So I like anything that is easy, quick. I don't really want to spend a lot of time on my hair. So in the beginning, if I were going and it was my first time and I was explaining things, I would say that I wanted something that was very low maintenance, something that resulted in longevity. So my style lasts a lot longer because I prefer to fuss less with my hair. I don't stress so much about frizz. Don't really care about, there's too much frizz, but I don't care about a little bit of frizz. But I just want to have a little bit of volume, some longevity, and like very minimalist type of routine. So what I ask for now is minimal layers because I've noticed the more layers I get, the thinner the ends and bottoms of my hair look. I have a full video about that you can watch if you're interested in more. So more of a blunt cut across the back, and then I do get a couple of face framing layers in the front. They're totally grown out now, so you can't tell. But that's about all I ask for. So I just walk in there and I tell her, yeah, let's cut it. I show her the exact length that I want my hair to be. So usually I'll just put my hand up, and then she just goes and starts cutting curl by curl. So I'm gonna take you along with me so you can see parts of the process, and I'll show you the after. So here I am sitting in the chair and she has already started her work. I wasn't able to record at the beginning because I couldn't get my phone to work where I showed her exactly what I wanted. So sorry, I did not record that part, but so far all she has done is cut the back side basically straight across, and she shaped it a little bit, and now she's working on one of the sides. So you can see how she sections the hair, splits up the clumps, makes them as small as possible, and then she cuts curl by curl, creating a specific shape. Now there's a tiny bit of layering happening on the sides here. As you can tell on the bottom, it's kind of like a slight curve. So it's not completely straight blunt cut on the sides. It is in the back. And this is just because for what I want, the little bit of volume and shape that she does there doesn't work against my hair. It works well for me. It still looks nice and full because the layers are almost all the same length. It's such a small difference between the length of the shortest part and the longest part, so this works for me. I also prefer to have much shorter pieces right around my face, so that's what she's working on right now, and you'll see that she cuts them pretty short on both sides because that's specifically what I'm requesting. So now she has moved on to the other side and she's doing the same thing. So you can see how she kind of combs out the clumps a little bit just to split them up. And since my hair is a looser curl pattern, this works a little bit better to make sure that it's more evenly cut, since the curl clumps will kind of spring up in totally different sizes. I've got so many different curl patterns on my hair, but it usually comes out pretty even like this. And then she does ask me to stand up and tilt my head to one side as she cleans it up, and then the other side and forward and all that to kind of clean it up. But this is about 10 to 15 minutes in total, and I'm sitting for most of the time, so it's really quite painless. In the beginning, she would explain everything she was doing, but since I've been going to her for so long, we're kind of just chatting and going over just personal updates. So here are the results of the cut. I just got home, and you can see it's all one length with a couple of face framing layers in the front. And today was wash day, so I usually do plan my haircuts on wash day because now I'm itchy everywhere with all the little like pieces of hair that get cut. So I'm gonna wash my hair later today and restyle it, and I will show you what it looks like actually styled so we can compare, like have a better comparison before and after. Because as she's cutting my hair, she's kind of like brushing through it with her fingers, and you can see it's like very fluffy and undefined and kind of stretched out. Like it will bounce up when I actually restyle it so we can get a better idea. But I already can tell how much fuller it looks, bouncier, like it just looks better, has a better shape than it did before. So I will come back and show you what it looks like after I have styled it. All right, so here we are the next day. I washed and styled my hair, and you can see that it did spring up quite a bit. It's definitely much shorter than it was yesterday. And that's because yesterday was, like I said, it was wash day. My hair was a little bit stretched out. It's always really springy on wash day as soon as I'm done styling, and then it kind of stretches out over time. So after 2 days when I went to get my hair cut, it was a little more stretched out, and so I knew it would spring up more, you know, like where she was cutting it, it was gonna come up a little bit higher. So I did keep that in mind where I showed her I wanted my hair to end up. It's maybe like an inch shorter than I told her, but I mean, I don't care, I like it. This length is totally fine. I'm really happy with these results. So let me show you what the back looks like. You can see the shape is like straight across for the most part, and then the layers on the side starts to come up. From the side, you can kind of see how it's layered, like the face framing layers here. Same deal on this side where you can see that it's kind of layered like that. And in the back, there's really no layers. She did do a couple of like I have this one out here that's a little bit shorter, just a few. It's very minimal of the like curve shape layer. It's mostly blunt. From this point on, it's all blunt on both sides. So it's really just like the front area that has a little bit of that layering shaping technique. And it's just because I like to have these short pieces around my face, get a little bit of volume up here. It just looks a little bit better than having it all be long in the front. That's just personal preference. So I don't have thickness here, right? Because it ends really short. I don't really mind. I really want the thickness in the back of my hair. So that's why she cuts it like that for me. So you can see, because I did like a more blunt cut, the ends are definitely much fuller, like a lot less see-through here. There's more bulk here than if I was to thin it out and do even more layers to have a little bit more lift up here. But then, you know, I'm giving lift up here, but see how it starts to kind of thin out at the bottom? I don't really like that. So prefer the more blunt cut with just light layering in the front. And because it looks so different from when I walked out, I do want to remind you that that can happen too. I see a lot of times some people get a haircut, they take a picture in their car, post it on Facebook, and want to cry about how bad it looks, but you haven't gone home and styled it yourself. Your stylist doesn't style your hair the way you do. I mean, even though the stylist I use is a curl specialist and she knows how to style curly hair, she's still not gonna style it the way that I do. And she may do a great job, but maybe it's just not what I like. And that could be the case for you. So don't feel upset right away if you don't like the way your hair looks. Wash it, style it yourself. Sometimes your hair can go into like a little shock, and it may need a couple of days to get used to its new style, especially if it's something pretty different than what you've had before. But usually it will settle after a couple of days, and you should be happy with what you have. Otherwise, you maybe either need to see another curl stylist, curl specialist, get a haircut somewhere else, or be more clear in explaining exactly what it is you want. Like, I can't tell you how important it is to show with your hand where you want your hair to fall. Don't tell your stylist, cut 2 inches off, cut 1 inch off, because 1 inch to you is maybe not the same as 1 inch to your stylist. So I would visual, like, I want it to end right here or right here. Very specific. Tell them where you want things to fall, if you want volume, if you like, be as specific as you possibly can. Show a picture, and of course be realistic, right? You can't go in asking for a ton of, like, I can't go in and be like, hey, I want big volume to last for days. My hair doesn't support that, right? So I can't go in and ask for that and expect to get that, right? And if you have a good stylist, they would be honest and tell you, sorry, I can't really give you that. But I know that that's not what happens. Stylists will say yes, and they will cut your hair, and you will be upset. So part of it is knowing your hair type and knowing what to ask for, having the right expectations, or having a good stylist that you can trust and you can say, what do you think? And really talk it through. Since I've been going to her for 5 years, I don't do that anymore. But in the beginning, there was definitely more of a conversation as to what's gonna happen, what do I want, how my hair behaves. So she had a better idea of how to cut it so that I would get the results that I wanted. So if you want to check out the same salon that I went to here in Central Florida, it is like 45 minutes north of Orlando in Deltona. It's Faith and Curls. I'm going to put the link in the description. If you're anywhere in Central Florida, I recommend it. I used to actually live farther away from here. Now I'm in Deltona, but I used to live in another city, and I would make the drive up here because I just really liked her. My daughter loves her as well, and I've referred other people, and everybody's been really happy with her. I think she does really, really good work. So if you also need help getting your hair to look a little bit fuller, less see-through, more volume, then watch this video next. It's called How to Make Thin Curly Hair Look Fuller and Less See-Through. Just click the video you see on your screen, and I'll see you there.